What if I told you that the most annoying character in The Big Bang Theory is actually the reason the entire show works? Now, I know that's a bold statement, because Sheldon Cooper spends most of the series driving everyone around him absolutely crazy. Whether he's enforcing ridiculous roommate agreements, correcting people's grammar, or turning simple conversations into lectures, Sheldon is usually the last person anyone would want to live with. But this episode asks a fascinating question: what if Sheldon had never been part of the group at all? At first, the answer seems obvious. Everyone's lives would probably be easier. No constant arguments. No endless rules. No Sheldon. Sounds perfect, right? Well, that's exactly where this episode tricks both the characters and the audience. As the gang starts imagining alternate versions of their lives without Sheldon, they expect to see happier futures. Instead, they discover something completely unexpected. Let's start with Penny. Without Leonard in the picture, Penny still ends up living across the hall from Sheldon. And somehow, that creates one of the funniest situations in the entire episode. Penny begins showing interest in Sheldon and drops what most people would consider painfully obvious hints. The problem: she's dealing with Sheldon Cooper. While Penny is trying to flirt, Sheldon is responding with logic, observations, and complete confusion. He doesn't realize what's happening because his brain is operating on a totally different wavelength. And that's what makes the scene so funny. He's not rejecting Penny. He's not playing hard to get. He genuinely has no idea she's flirting with him. Watching Penny grow increasingly frustrated while Sheldon remains completely clueless perfectly captures why this character became one of television's most memorable sitcom icons. But what makes this episode stand out isn't just the comedy. It's the way it forces every character to confront an uncomfortable truth. Their lives are connected to Sheldon far more than they ever realized. Take Howard, for example. For years, Howard has treated Sheldon like a walking headache. Every conversation turns into an argument. Every group activity becomes more complicated because of him. Yet when Howard imagines a future without Sheldon, things don't improve nearly as much as he expected. Instead of moving forward in life, he appears stuck in old habits and familiar routines. The show exaggerates everything for laughs, but the message underneath is surprisingly meaningful. Sometimes growth comes from being challenged, and whether Howard wants to admit it or not, Sheldon has always challenged everyone around him. Then we get Leonard's alternate future. This might actually be the most interesting storyline in the episode. Leonard often believes Sheldon is the biggest obstacle standing between him and happiness. After all, Sheldon has complicated almost every part of his life at one point or another. But when Leonard imagines a world without Sheldon, something important becomes clear. Many of the relationships and experiences that shaped his future simply never happen. His journey changes completely. His social life changes. Even his confidence changes. The episode cleverly suggests that without Sheldon acting as an unexpected catalyst, Leonard's life would have looked very different. And probably not for the better.
That's really the genius of this episode. Every alternate reality begins with optimism. Every character assumes removing Sheldon automatically improves everything. But the more they explore those possibilities, the more flaws they discover. Because Sheldon isn't just another member of the group. He's the spark that started everything. Without Sheldon, many friendships never happen. Without Sheldon, important moments disappear. Without Sheldon, this group may never have become a family in the first place. And that's a surprisingly emotional realization for a sitcom known mostly for jokes and geek culture references. What I love most about this episode is that it doesn't suddenly pretend Sheldon is perfect. He's still difficult. He's still frustrating. He's still capable of testing everyone's patience within seconds. The writers never ignore those flaws. Instead, they show that a person's flaws don't erase their value. In fact, sometimes the people who challenge us the most are also the people who influence our lives the most. By the end of the episode, the characters finally understand something viewers may have overlooked for years. The goal was never to survive Sheldon Cooper. The goal was to grow alongside him. And despite all the arguments, misunderstandings, and chaos, that's exactly what happened. For me, this is one of the smartest and most underrated episodes in the entire series. It delivers laughs, character development, and an emotional message all at the same time. And that's exactly why it still stands out years later. But what do you think? Would the gang have been happier without Sheldon? Or was Sheldon always the secret ingredient that made everything work? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Big Bang Theory reviews and TV show breakdowns.